On the news tonight, Senate to pass 2018 budget next week. In business, Malawi's conduct hearing to compel federal government to take back oil blocks holds tomorrow. On the foreign scene, a Russian President Vladimir Putin sworn in as president. Hello there, and my thanks to join us on Superscreen News at 8, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adenike Owoye Ajiboye. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the National Assembly will ensure that the 2018 budget will be passed next week. Saraki discussed this to journalists after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. The meeting was held at the presidential villa in Abuja, the nation's capital. Similarly, the House of Representatives had last week said it will pass the 2018 budget before the end of next week. The House Committee Chairman on Media and Public Affairs made the statement while briefing journalists at the end of Thursday's plenary. According to him, the budget will be laid before the House this week.
We hope that hopefully it should be late this week. If it can be late this week, pass this week, or late this week and pass early next week. But we're hoping it should be late this week.
Senate President Bukola Saraki speaking there. And our President Muhammadu Buhari has met with the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, behind closed doors. The meeting was held inside the Presidential Villa, Abuja, shortly after President Buhari returned from his weekend trip to his hometown, Dara, in Katsina State. At the end of the meeting, Saraki and Dogara told reporters that they reported the Inspector General of Police, IGP Ibrahim Idris, to the President over his handling of the case involving Senator Dino Melaye and his disdain for the National Assembly.
He showed his own, that was an embarrassment to the country, and that and there will be a proper investigation in it, and because it's something that's not just about the National Assembly, it's about the country. So we talked about that.
This is a civilian administration, it's a democracy, and it is imperative and very, very important that all institutions of democracy operate within the ambit of the rule of law. There's no way, I've said it before, that the police will behave in a democracy like a clan of tribesmen, like an upgraded barbarian, sort of. So there's need for us to act with civility. We're not saying anybody should be protected or defended. Once you have committed an offense, our law says that you should answer it. But you just have to utilize the provision of the Constitution, the rule of law, which this administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has overemphasized in order to bring people to book.
They, however, said the issue of the impeachment process being contemplated in the National Assembly over Buhari's approval for the payment of $496 million for fighter jets before he sought the approval of the federal lawmakers is not discussed at the meeting. The Kogi State High Court sitting in Lokoja has adjourned hearing of a bail application of Senator Dino Melaye for Thursday, May 10, 2018. This followed the inability of the parties to submit the counter-affidavit and better affidavit to the written bail application by Melaye's counsel when Justice Nasir Ajana ordered the lawmaker be transferred to the National Hospital, Abuja. The prosecution, led by Alex Izion San, readied a counter-affidavit to the written application for bail by Mike Zekume, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Melaye's counsel, to which the latter had sought the court's permission to file a better affidavit to the counter-affidavit by the prosecution. The federal government has been asked to sanction a leadership of the United Nations International Children's Fund, UNICEF, over the alleged suspicious plots to embolden and promote terrorism in Nigeria. A group identified as Coalition for Peace in Nigeria made the call during a protest in Abuja, questioning UNICEF's leniency to allow some of its staff enlist in the club of undercover agents of foreign forces against Nigeria in disguised support for terrorism. Convener of the group alleged attempts by some international organizations who have rendered themselves to do some disgusting undercover jobs for foreign forces which have sworn to destabilize, polarize, and divide Nigeria.
We demand for the immediate withdrawal of that report on our military, as it contains nothing other than baseless lies, fabrications, and unfounded and insane adverts crafted to sabotage the ongoing war on terror in the country. The UNICEF and staff finger in this aberration have 21 days ultimatum. They have 21 days ultimatum to retract repulsive report. Any thought of disregarding this ultimatum by refusal to a corresponding rebuttal of this infamous report with the stipulated time frame, we shall have no option than to return to permanently occupy UNICEF office here in Abuja and in Nigeria, until they are forced to vacate in Nigeria. No Nigeria is ready to tolerate any attempt by individual, groups of persons or organizations to prolong the pains and agony of innocent children and women in the hands of Boko Haram.
The report has, however, provoked outrage from Nigerians, especially the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations, CSOS, who have now demanded a retraction and an apology from UNICEF to the Nigerian military and the government of Nigeria. The Kaduna State Police Command has announced the deployment of 3 additional police mobile units to reinforce security in Benin, Gwari. 27 persons were reportedly killed during the weekend, with several houses set ablaze after suspected bandits attacked the community. The command spokesman, Mokhtar Aliyu, told journalists that no arrest has been made, but efforts are on to track down the killers. The Kaduna state government has also said an army battalion would be permanently deployed in the area to check the killings. The statement added that the government has directed the State Emergency Management Agency to immediately provide relief materials to the affected community. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has sent letters of warning to all political parties, asking them to stop campaigns. The warning was equal to activities of majority of political parties which are considered to be against the provisions of the law on electioneering. According to INEC, you will recall that the Commission had released the timetable and schedule of the 2019 general elections in January, where it said campaigns must not commence before December, which is 3 months to the commencement of the elections. However, majority of political parties, according to INEC, ignored the timetable and flooded the political space with campaigns. The electoral party is said to have expressed worry and therefore asked its state resident electoral commissioners to call the attention of all political parties in their states to the provisions of the law guiding electoral activities. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Edo State Command, says it has arrested 41 persons for allegedly trafficking illicit drugs in the state. The Assistant Commander and Head Operations and Intelligence of the Command, Peter Auger, discussed this to journalists. Auger said that the suspects, including a distributor of codeine, were arrested for drug offences ranging from possession, peddling, and consumption in various parts of the state. Auger also said that 4 farms where substance suspected to be cannabis sativa was being cultivated were also destroyed within the period. The Nigeria Medical Association (NMA) has appealed to the federal government to honor its agreements with the joint health sector unions (JHESU) and end the ongoing strike in the health sector. The association made the appeal in a communique issued at the end of its 58th annual General and Scientific and Delegates Conference. According to the communique read by its new president, Francis Adedayo, the association said it disparaged the strike and appealed to the federal government to end it soon. You're still watching Superscreen's flagship news. Coming up in business. Malawi's conduct hearing to compel federal government to take back all blocks holds tomorrow. Join us for details of these and more after this time out.
Before they come, they're supposed to, give us some information. Notice. At least maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.
Hunger is everywhere in Nigeria. People are dying every day, but Nigeria government are keeping quiet. Housemen are killing people. Why? It's not what we expected because of these old men that are leading us, and you people know, you are aware that these people are not the right people to lead us. These kind of people that are leading us here are people of black mind. They just care about themselves and their family. You are affecting my village. Let me use if I call it useless, I'm not a mistake. The other place where they build a shop, call it plaza. Say each shop there are 4 million naira. So I don't have the money, so I have to leave. If you plan to get a tribal mark, it takes a lot of pain, but after some time, you enjoy it. No, we experience hold up now during the construction time. Then after some time, we start enjoying it. The way they are doing the construction is too slow. It's too slow. The construction is too slow. They should stop the construction and make sure people go into their businesses and do their businesses.
Well, it's so glad to have you back now in business news. The Federal High Court of Nigeria will hear a case to compel the Nigerian government to take back one of Nigeria's most lucrative oil blocks, which has been at the center of a $1.1 billion multinational corruption scandal on Tuesday. The case is brought by Nigerian civil society organization Human Environmental Development Agenda, HEDA, who are demanding that the government revoke the Operating Production License, OPL, on grounds that the entire Malabo transaction is unconstitutional, illegal, and void as it is not legally granted. The motion filed by HEDA at the Federal High Court of Nigeria requires the Nigerian Attorney General to appear before it on May 8. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government has saved more than 200 billion naira after it eliminated ghost workers from the Federal Civil Service. Osinbajo disclosed this during his keynote address at the ongoing Open Government Week, which started today. The Vice President said the government has put in place the Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit, which helps to keep a check on the federal payroll and pensions. The FG has also established the Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit to clean up federal payroll and pension systems across ministries, departments, agencies in these, according to them, has saved the federal government over 200 billion naira by eliminating ghost workers. The Lagos State government says it has plans to redevelop about 100 slum settlements across the state to make them more habitable for the people. Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Rotimi Ogunleye, who discussed this at the 28th Ministerial Press Briefing, said Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency is working towards the regeneration and urbanization of the state into a befitting megacity that was livable and economically buoyant. Ogunleye said this would also help to prevent building collapse as well as reduce blight in the state. According to him, the public-private partnership approach instead of direct government funding has been adopted to achieve the slum renewal. You're still watching Superscreen's flagship news. Coming up on the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin sworn in as president. Join us for details of these and more after this timeout.